What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the video here in the World of Juice channel, and welcome to more Madden 22 coverage, more Madden 22 breakdown. This time, obviously, by the title in the video, you guys already know what we're talking about. We are going to be going over the Gridiron notes for Madden 22's dynamic gameplay. Now, I use quotations on dynamic game day because is it going to be a W? Is it going to be an improvement? We don't know. We don't know just yet. So we're going to take a deep dive like we're going to do in this and find out. So make sure to smash that like button, notification bell, and the subscription button as well. Join the Juice Club. Let's get straight into it. Here we are. We are on the Gridiron Notes page of Madden 22 on EA.com. If you want to go check it out, that's where it's at, EA.com, Gridiron Notes. It was released a couple of days ago. I'm not 100% sure. Actually, it says it right here. It was released on July 2nd, I think, is when this is what it says. So I'm assuming that's when it was released. I don't know. I'm just finding out about it now. And so let's take a look at it. Obviously, I've broke down the Dynamic Game Day release trailer. I've done all that kind of stuff. So we're going to find out what it's all about here. So we don't need to read all of this stuff because this is just kind of the basic stuff. Obviously, Dynamic Game Day is only going to be part of the next-gen stuff. It's not going to be on PS4. It's not going to be on Xbox One. It's not going to be on PC. Only for PS5, Xbox Series X. That's all it's going to be for. Game Day Momentum is the first thing. They call them Momentum Factors, M Factors. So it's basically like the old NCAA games when they had the momentum bar and the momentum meter that would switch and stuff during the games. It's basically like that, just with like updated stuff and NFL versions of it. So this says that the momentum mechanic is a tug-of-war style meter that flows toward the team currently controlling the game as greater levels of momentum are reached. M factors are unlocked or taken away as the tangible impact to capturing the momentum. M factors are team-wide effects that vary between boosting a team's performance and providing additional challenges to overcome throughout the course of a game. For example, a kicker always kicking in the ice state, receivers missing their receiver icons, or making hot routes more difficult to perform. Now, this last one, making hot routes difficult to perform, I've talked about this in a past video. I'm a little bit worried about this one. The ice the kicker one, not that bad. I can deal with that one. That one's normal. The receiver missing their receiver icons, I can deal with that one. That's normal. But the making the high routes a little bit more difficult, that happened in NCAA, and it is a little bit more difficult when you're in a tough situation. You want to be able to get that hot route. I've mentioned this before that yes, we want a realistic game. We want as much of realism as possible. But at the end of the day, we want to just play a fun video game. And if we're trying to beat if we're playing our friend and we're trying to beat them and it's down by 7 at the red zone and you're the away team and you're trying to make a hot route and the receiver can't hear it because the crowd's going crazy, that's going to get annoying. That's going to get frustrating. People aren't going to like that. So I'm a little bit worried about that. We're going to have to wait and see how overpowered it is. The flow of the meter is driven purely by the action on the field, where big plays like touchdowns, turnovers, and sacks will grab more momentum than smaller plays. Because we have different ways to play, the meter used in tournaments, online ranked, head-to-head, and some Ultimate Team modes will be tuned differently than the base way to play. So that's a big... so the skillful user play will be more important in swinging momentum than the play outcome. So that's big, because before this, they hadn't confirmed if Dynamic Game Day was going to be in competitive modes. And now they have confirmed that it will be in competitive modes. So that's a huge... That is a huge point to confirm, because are competitive players going to like Dynamic Game Day? Is it going to affect them when it comes down to the big time moments? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see what the community says about it. But this is good that they actually did confirm that it's going to be in that, because I wasn't sure. I was assuming that it was going to be involved, because why wouldn't it be? But it was never really confirmed. So then we got the final paragraph here. Well, before this picture, we've got, when M factors are unlocked, they will light up the meter. You will also see them in Coach Cam with full descriptions telling you exactly what they do and when they are active. There's no hidden stat boost, no under-the-hood game flow modifications, only the M factors unlocked by in-game performance. The M factors that are available in each game will always vary based on where the game is played or what the elements are, so each game feels like a different experience. That seems like a W. That seems like a good way to differentiate and to shake things up to give you a different experience every time. It seems like a good idea. I don't know. So this is just going over different unique perks that each team has. If you go to Seattle, it's going to be a loud crowd. All that stuff is just going to be the same. So we can take a look at these pictures right now. Snowy fields in Philly, all that good stuff. What's this? To quickly summarize, Game Day Momentum introduces momentum mechanics, which gamers can interact with the momentum meter and based on their on-field performance can activate or deactivate M factors by swinging momentum. NFL teams playing on their home field will have unique home field advantage M factors celebrating their stadium, fan base, and history. And both momentum and home field advantage are customized to match the specific game mode that you're playing. That's a big one right there. That final factor is a big one because that includes competitive. I don't personally play competitive, but this Gridiron Notes is huge for competitive players because this actually does confirm a lot of stuff that we've been wondering about competitive gameplay. I think that Dynamic Game Day is going to be a W. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, like I've said with everything, we're going to have to wait and see until we actually have the game. So reading it on paper seems like a good thing, but who knows what it's going to actually turn out to be. Then we go to Game Day Atmosphere. So we've got the presentation, the broadcast, all the good stuff. So Game Day Atmosphere delivers the scale, experience, and impact of big moments that can change the game. So we've got personalities and characteristics of each unique NFL stadium. We've got updated broadcast packages. That's good because you guys know, for as long as you've been on the channel, you guys know that I just cannot stand the broadcasting crew of Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis. They say the exact same 5-6 lines every single game, every single year. So I play usually on mute. But I'm glad that they're at least updating the packages of different audio that they can say, because it's just gonna get annoying after a while. They might as well just bring in a new crew. One of these unique characteristics you'll notice is first the crowd. We have a brand new crowd animations and created super fan characters for every team in the league to give each team a 12th man. Well, that's not that good. I mean, there's teams that are based around the 12th man. Like Seattle is known for having the 12th man. That's their thing. So if every team has a 12th man, it kind of takes away from it. They remastered the real crowd audio recordings. Okay, that's good. I probably won't play with sound on anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter to me. For example, a loud crowd might make it tough for your quarterback to hear a call and make an audible at the line. That could get annoying. The sidelines will also react to the action on the field. You'll see players and coaches on the sideline react to the momentum of the game, pump up the crowd, and sometimes interact with players on the field. Ooh, that's cool. And even the players on the field will have momentum-based reactions for more organic displays of emotion after the whistle blows. So it's not going to be, at least on paper, it sounds like it's not going to be as robotic and as just bland as it has been, where the sideline feels like it's not even real. It just doesn't really exist. The sideline doesn't really exist and stuff. So at least they're adding to that. They're making it feel like it's more of a full experience, which is good. That's awesome. So in addition to M factors, brought momentum, introduces environmental traits. Okay, so these conditions aren't driven by momentum, but instead by the environment, the weather, quality of the turf. Ooh, that's interesting. Quality of the turf. So not all the turf is going to be the same? Or are they talking about, like, if it's a weather game, like a rain game, then the turf is going to be different than if it wasn't? That's interesting. Rivalry games and even fan base are used to determine game day conditions. Okay. So some examples are increased ball flight in high altitude, like Denver. That's cool because there's a lot of people wondering and thinking that the ball was going to travel more in Denver because of the high altitude. It looks like they've confirmed it here. We've got decreased change of direction ratings for all players in the field when playing on slippery surfaces. Okay. The broadcast packages will bring all of this to life with a new pregame presentation to set the stage. Expect more NFL next-gen stats packages and overlays, new stat banners and wipes, cutscenes, various new camera angles, and new Super Bowl presentation, and more. So that little paragraph right there has a lot in it. So basically, we all knew from clips and from little leaks and stuff that the overlay was completely different. The new scoreboard when you're in game is different. Next gen stats are obviously more important now. They're more prevalent. But the biggest thing here is the new Super Bowl presentation. We talked about this because I saw it confirmed in the actual Madden 22 breakdown trailer that we did a while ago, probably a week or so ago, maybe even 2 weeks. I don't even know. But they kind of teased the new Super Bowl presentation, which is a big W, because the Super Bowl presentation was the exact same copy and paste thing for the past 5 or 6 years. Exact frame by frame thing. It just, the team was different. The only thing was different was the team. So it was the exact same thing, frame by frame. So adding this new thing is a huge W. I like that. To summarize game day atmosphere, the crowd will be a factor in Madden 22. Sideline players and staff will react to the action on the field momentum of the game. All new game day conditions bring unique environment-based game modifiers to each game that can either help or hinder both teams, and all brought to life with a fresh new presentation package. So this seems like a W. I don't know yet. Obviously, with everything, we have to wait and see. But I have mentioned in the past that I've wanted the weather to be updated because the weather just doesn't seem real. To me, it doesn't feel natural. When you're playing Madden 21 or Madden 20 or any of the other past games, it just doesn't feel right. The snow doesn't feel right. The rain didn't feel right. Now it seems like, maybe not the snow, but the rain, at least from those trailers and stuff, it seems like it would react better. It seems like it feels better. So we'll have to wait and see on that as well, like everything. And then I think this is the final thing, the next-gen next-gen star-driven AI. So basically what this is, I think, is just an updated AI because we all know that the AI is kind of garbage in past Maddens. So, they actually talk about it in here. Okay, let's read this. The final piece of dynamic game day is next gen stats star-driven AI. Over the last 2 years, the vast majority of all games played in the Madden NFL have been against AI opponents. Yeah, because we all play franchise mode. But frankly, we had not been investing in those experiences as much as head-to-head games. So they actually acknowledge it, which is actually huge. I didn't think they would actually acknowledge that. That's crazy. Next-gen stats, star-driven AI in Madden 22 will deliver a step change. Okay. In AI, so that single-player games will feel just as fun, fresh, and meaningful as playing against, I don't know if playing against other humans is fun and fresh, especially the way that people play. In Madden 21, they introduced next-gen stats and gameplay. That's true. Next-gen stats data to drive AI behaviors and tendencies at both player level and team level. So this is all for AI to perform better and to actually feel competitive and stuff. So for individual AI players, next-gen stats are now used to drive deeper player tendencies based on the data we have for each player. Certain thresholds are in place that will automatically assign certain player traits that drive specific behaviors, such as quarterback decision-making while under pressure, quarterback passing aggressiveness, and tight window throws. We all know how bad tight window throws are in Madden. QB pass success on the run, that's bad too. Now they're fixing it. And even ball carry tendencies around breaking, evading tackles. Okay, so they're making it better. I like that. So we've got lay down the foundation. They're improving ball carry open field pathfinding, which is a huge W because it's been a huge problem in past Maddens. That's one of the big problems that they've had. QB read progressions has been bad. Scramble logic scramble logic hasn't been horrible. I haven't personally seen scramble logic for AI be that bad. They've actually gotten some big plays off of me because their scramble logic has been pretty decent. So me personally, I wouldn't think that scramble logic is that bad, but I'm glad that they're at least acknowledging that it is bad for some people. We've got better awareness of Superstar X Factor abilities. In Play Now and in Franchise, these player tendencies will evolve all season long as stats change and game plans evolve, either in the real world via frequent next-gen stat imports or within your franchise sim. Now, they say this with the real world stuff. I'm a little bit worried about this because I'm worried that they're going to take too much from the real world and it's going to affect your actual franchise too much. I'm just a little bit worried about that. I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I think if anything, it's going to obviously help. But I'm just a little bit worried that the real world stuff's going to take too much of the priority over your actual in-game franchise tendencies and stuff. So I'm just a little bit worried about that. That scares me a little bit. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, but it could be. I'm just it's in the back of my mind. I'm just a little bit worried for that. So for the AI, gave a unique puzzle to solve each team's personality, play calling style, and team tendencies. Obviously, we talked about that. They're going to go into it here with the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are they like to blitz a lot. The Ravens obviously like to run a lot. The Bills pass a lot. So they're obviously, we've already talked about that. And then we're talking about, for the first time, wait, hold on. So all this data, gotta crack my neck there for a second. All this data about your opponent will be surfaced to you in different ways depending on the mode you're playing, and you'll be able to make strategic gameplay decisions about how you want to counter their strengths or lean more heavily into your own. You'll be able to make gameplay decisions either in pre-game of Play Now games, during your weekly practice schedule and franchise, and for the first time in Madden NFL at halftime of every game. Halftime adjustments will be wrapped in previously mentioned presentation packages, allowing you to adjust your strategy at halfway point just like real-world NFL coaches. You'll see how your opponent's tendencies have evolved. You will now control your own destiny no matter how you play. So this still doesn't give me the answer of if we'll be able to skip through the halftime if we don't want to, or if we don't care about making adjustments, or if we don't want to just make adjustments, like if we just want to get to the next half. But that brings up another question, that is halftime adjustments, or is adjustments in general, are they going to matter that much in the game? Like if you are getting beaten by the run a whole lot, you didn't think you were going into the game, and then it turns out the first half they get like 100 rushing yards on you and like 2 touchdowns. And so at halftime they want you to make adjustments and you don't. Is that going to hinder your performance in the second half, or is it not going to matter that much? That's stuff that we have to find out. That's experiments. Sorry, I couldn't say that. That's experiments that we have to do in Madden 22 to find out if that really matters that much, or if it doesn't matter at all. I don't know. We'll have to find out. So they're closing out this stuff with all of the generic stuff that we talked about. We've got core gameplay enhancements. We've got, moving on to core gameplay, we want to quickly touch on the importance of feedback from you, our players, and how many of your ideas we try to get into the game each year. Feedback from our players is so valuable. Yeah, we get it. Valuable. I don't know why I said it like that. Based on your feedback, we've made a variety of core innovations to these areas: blocking, tackling, catching, player movement, and much, much more. We all know how bad these things have been. Blocking, horrendous. Tackling, horrendous. Catching, horrendous. Player movement, horrendous. It's all been bad. Player movement, they've added a bunch of new specific route plays. I've already talked about how ungodly bad corner routes are in Madden. Like they're unbelievably bad, almost impossible to throw and complete because it's so easy to intercept. So hopefully they're acknowledging that. I don't know. I don't really know. Tackling looks like it's getting an improvement. That's good, because tackling has been bad. Catching, obviously I'm not going to read all of this stuff because the video would be like an hour, so I don't want to read all of this. Like I said at the beginning, if you want to take a more in-depth look, just go to EA's website and then click on Madden 22 Gridiron Notes, and you'll be able to read it for yourself more in-depth. But I will go a little bit slower so that you guys can like pause the video or read it if you want to. So catching, we obviously know that catching has been really bad, especially 50-50 balls have been pretty impossible to get if you want to get them completed. So maybe they're going to fix that. Blocking, we've talked about on this channel. We've seen it on this channel how bad blocking can be, where you have a blitzing linebacker just run absolutely free at the quarterback because the offensive lineman just didn't pick him up. The offensive lineman just lets him walk by. He's just standing still. We know how bad blocking can be. So I'm glad that they're at least acknowledging and working to fix blocking. And we get a nice little look at Justin Fields. So that's good that they're fixing blocking. Obviously, you can pause if you want to see that. Core improvements. We didn't stop there. Catching, blocking, all that stuff. A bunch of other changes. So we've got increased range for pass lead and pass trajectory, which is good. That might work for the corner routes. That might be acknowledging that. Decreased effectiveness of overtop coverage adjustment when guarding routes with cuts. Ooh, that's a big one. That's a big one. Increased get-off speed of blitzing defenders so they're fast to the gaps. I like that. New impact block that respects player momentum with an emphasis on bigger offensive linemen dominating smaller defensive backs. I like that. Added multiple scramble sack interactions. Okay. Reduced match distance on blocks from the rear back shoulder. Retuned high throw mechanic to make it more effective. I like that. That also could work with the corner routes. Major tuning to multiplayer catching to reduce the frequency, but also reduce warping when they are used. Improve pursuit logic to decrease the frequency of over and under pursuit tackles. Improve defender reaction time when in position to play the ball versus pass. After the whistle, teammates will now help the ball carry up off the ground when in position to do so. Okay, that's just a little that's a small thing. That doesn't matter that much. But whatever, I guess it's cool. Then we get playbooks. So all 32 NFL teams' playbooks have been updated to reflect their real-world plays. Okay, I like that. I thought that was already a thing, but I guess it just updated it now. So, okay. So based on stats from last season, the Miami Dolphins will be more aggressive in blitzing, whereas the Seahawks are now a team that relies heavily on playing cover 3. Ravens have pistol formations. Obviously, the Chiefs focus on shotgun formation, missing RPO. Yep, that's true. They've added more plays, which is cool. All this stuff, you want to see that. We got pass coverage plays that are added into the game now, into the game plan. We've got backpedal, turn, and run transition. That's cool. Proper leverage, vertical crossing routes, rally to the flats. I like that. Red zone awareness. Animation improvements. We know how bad the animation improvements can be, so that's a huge W that they're getting that. So, all right. Oh, this is big. How will game day momentum work in Madden Ultimate Team? When playing in online modes such as head-to-head seasons and weekend league, home field advantage will not be enabled. Be on the lookout for more animation. Okay, boom, they just confirmed it. So forget what I said at the beginning of the video when we were talking about that at the beginning of the article. They just confirmed it, that in head-to-head seasons and weekend league, home field advantage will not be enabled. So it'll be like you're playing on PS4, Xbox Series X, or Xbox One and PC. That's huge. They just confirmed it right there. Okay, I like that. I like that they got that out the way and they confirmed it, because I was a little bit curious. Even though I don't play it personally, I don't play competitive, it is a huge question that needed to be answered, and now it did. So, with all that being said, as we scroll back up here to the top, with everything that I've broken down in the past 2 weeks to month that I've been doing this for Madden 22, that they've been releasing stuff, I've always ended the videos with a caveat. Yes, this looks like a W. On paper, Madden 22, with all their new improvements, look like a W. But when we actually get our hands on the game, actually get in the game, is going to be a totally different experience. Will it end up transitioning to be a W and continuing to be a W? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But also, one more thing before I go. I also always say this at the end of all these videos. I'm going to say it again. This is all good. Don't get me wrong. This is all very, very good. But this is not the end-all, be-all of Madden 22. They need to build upon this. I say this every time. This is good building blocks for the future of the franchise. They are actually starting to build a good game again. But they can't just get complacent and stop here. They need to continue to build off what this has done and take our feedback even more after this and continue to make a good game for Madden 23 and beyond. So don't get your hopes up so much that this is going to be a W, but also don't go into the game thinking it's going to be a massive L. You gotta go in with a neutral mindset for Madden 22. Because, yes, it could fall flat, it could flop, and it could be a bad game. It most likely will be. But there's also that slight possibility that it's actually a decent game. So just all I'm saying is just go in with a neutral mindset. Go in with not any bias or anything. Just go in and experience it for yourself. If you think it's a W, cool. Then it's a W. But if you think it's an L, that's fine too. That's fine too. You can think that it's an L. It's probably going to be an L, but we'll have to wait and see. So, like I said, go back in to EA's website, ea.com/Madden22 or /Madden NFL, and then find their Gridiron notes if you want to take a more in-depth dive. Obviously, you could pause this video at any moment if you wanted to read it for yourself more in-depthly, because I know that I scrolled past a couple of a couple paragraphs that I didn't really read, but I didn't want to bog this video down and make it like a half hour or an hour or whatever. So that's going to do it for me, though. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching. Make sure to smash that like button, notification bell, and subscription button as well. Join the Juice Club, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.